Happy Saturday, co-creators, and welcome to another edition of Teena Sessions, 365 inspirational quotes with me, your life coach, Teena Jones. Well, how is everyone doing on this happy Saturday? Hope your day is going well. Hope you did all the things you wanted to do. If you wanted to be lazy, I hope you were lazy. And so if you're new or if you are one of my loyal viewers, I want to thank each and every one of you for tuning in on this Saturday. Well, let's kick it off. I have a very exciting topic to discuss today. The quote, though, of the day is by Larry Doty. And it is, each person enfolds something of the spirit of the other in his consciousness. Let me repeat that. Each person enfolds something of the spirit of the other in his consciousness. We're going to talk about premonitions and spirituality, two of my favorite topics. Some of you, I don't know what conjures up in your mind when you think of premonitions. So we're going to discuss two examples of how premonitions work, and when you get it, act on it. Okay, I cannot stress that enough. So the first thing is, let's define it. Premonitions are often regarded as unrelated to spirituality, but there are profound connections. Yes, indeed. The most obvious involves love, and those we're going to get into real life examples of how premonition plays a role. Now, spirituality involves an awareness of being connected to something greater than yourself, okay, than your ego self, than your personality self. And so oftentimes, traditionally, we call this entity God, Goddess, Allah, Great Spirit, Higher Power, Almighty, the Absolute, and many other names. Some consider it the universe, or a sense of infinite order and beauty. Many individuals prefer to attribute no name, whatever it is, just want to say the energy. Some people do that. But whether you name it or you unname it, the awareness of this connectedness is key. And it's something greater than you and I. Okay? So individuals often find their power of sensing and knowing. All right? That's when that premonition kind of kicks in. So let me kind of give you the examples real quick, and then we kind of discuss when you get that feeling, what you should do. The first one is by a lady named Amanda. And here's her story. Amanda is a young mother living in Washington State. She woke up one night at 2:30 in the morning from a nightmare. You see, she dreamed that a large chandelier that hung above their baby's bed in the next room fell into the crib and crushed the baby. In the dream, as she and her husband stood and looked at the wreckage, she saw the clock near the baby's dresser, and the clock read 4:35 a.m. The weather in the dream was violent. Rain hammered the window, and the wind was blowing fiercely. The dream was so terrifying that Amanda woke her husband up. She sat up in the bed, woke her husband up, and told him everything. He laughed. He thought, just go back to sleep. It was just a bad dream. You have nothing to be afraid of. The weather is perfect. The meteorologist said nothing about bad weather. But Amanda could not let that dream go. She couldn't go back to sleep. So because she was so frightened, she decided to go into her baby's room and brought the child back with her to bed. She noted that the weather was calm. It was just like her husband said, not stormy at all. Amanda felt a little foolish until 2 hours later, when she and her husband were awakened by a loud crash. They ran into the nursery, found the crib demolished by the fallen chandelier, which had fallen directly into the crib, just like her dream said. Amanda noted that the clock on the dresser, you got it, it read 4:35 a.m., and that the weather had changed. Now, there was a howling wind and rain. This time, her husband was not laughing. All right, so before we get into the next story, Amanda did the right thing. You got to remember that everyone is gifted with certain things. Some people have dreams and have premonitions. Others don't. And if they do have it, it doesn't show up in the same way. Okay? And so oftentimes, if you are aware of your premonitions, you have them on a regular basis, you have to take the road less traveled. Meaning that everyone's not going to sign up and believe in your premonition. It wasn't given to them, you know. So sometimes you just have to take it upon yourself to take action steps because the dream was given to you. It wasn't given to your husband. It wasn't given to your best friend, your mom, your sister, your brother, or anyone else. So when you tell someone about a premonition that God has given you, you have to be careful who you share that thing with, only because they may not believe. And you don't want to feel like you have to prove something to them. You understand what I'm saying? And you don't want them to talk you out of what God just delivered to you. So act upon it. I cannot stress it enough to take the action steps, no matter how foolish or ludicrous it may seem or appear to be. When it comes that strong, like in Amanda's story, you've got to act. All right? And so here's the next story. Let me say this. In the story, Amanda's dream was giving her a snapshot of the future, down to the specific event, the precise time it would happen, and even the change of the weather. Okay? So it was right on time. It was right on point. Everything in that dream. Okay, so let's get to the next one. All right. Let's see. Premonitions are reoccurring features in the experience of some SIDS, kids that dealing with SIDS. And so an example is Don. He's a physician in a large metropolitan area. During the first trimester of his wife's pregnancy, she sensed that the happiness of the son's birth would be lasting. Okay. And so a few months before the birth, he would occasionally find himself contemplating a nearby cemetery where his son would eventually be buried. The day he was born, Don first held him in his arms. He felt, for no obvious reason, that the newborn was not supposed to be with them. Beginning around 2 or 3 weeks before his death, Don would be awakened from his sleep with thoughts of SIDS. The day before his son died, he heard a voice very similar to his own say repeatedly, "Take a good look. Take a good look. This is the last time you will see him." Okay, so it wasn't the wife that was given the premonition. It was her husband, who happens to be a physician. Dunn's apprehensions increased when his wife planned a flight with the baby to visit her parents, who lived in another state. Although they disagreed about whether the baby should go, Dunn didn't make his fears clear to his wife. As he was driving them to the airport, negative feelings rose up inside of him. At the airport, walking to security, he heard a clear warning that he'd never see his son again. He knew his baby would die during that trip. While walking back to the parking lot, the voice told him to go back and get his son. Finally, the voice softened and stopped, as Dunn ignored it and kept walking. Early the next morning, his wife called, hysterical, that their son had died. He later would find that his aunt had similar apprehensions about his son. Now, of course, looking back, Dunn says to himself, the process has been a shock to me, since I knew beforehand of his death and that it was going to happen. The only thing I didn't know was when and where. I had no idea of the meaning of these voices and feelings that I was getting. The only thing I can say is that perhaps if I would have listened to my heart, many mishaps could have been prevented. Now, that's a sad story. It really is about not listening. And, we get warnings all the time. And let me say this, your logical mind can't make sense of it. This is beyond logic. This is beyond the ego. This is beyond your personality. There's no one you can call and say, and compare notes. Has this ever happened to you? Because most likely it's going to be no. And so, like I said earlier, you've got to take the road less traveled oftentimes, because you oftentimes don't have anyone in your circle that has gone through or experienced premonitions, especially on a regular basis. But as you continue on your spiritual journey and you begin to meditate and you heighten your sixth sense, spirit would talk to you in different ways, maybe through dreams, maybe through hunches or feelings. The whole idea is to trust that and to know that God is good and that whatever you are receiving, that too is good and that it's a gift, you know. And so, consider yourself blessed to have it, but you've got to utilize it. There's no need in having this gift if you don't use the talent. Okay, have no fear. I am someone that has premonitions on a regular basis. It's really second nature for me now. But I remember in the beginning being thrown off, about these dreams that I would have would be so vivid. And then when it happened, like, oh my God, like I dreamed that, and it happened. And so if you are experiencing that or you know someone that may be going through that, then, don't feel alone. You're not alone. There are many of us that has these feelings. It's my job to help you to cultivate that, feel comfortable with that, and then you'll find that it's just a blessing. Just miracle upon miracle will begin to happen for you. And so that's my message to you. As you continue on your spiritual journey, you will grow. And there are talents that are lying dormant inside of you that God is trying to awaken. So say yes to those premonitions. Say yes to God. All right. And that is the affirmation of the day. I am saying yes to the universe. And I hope you are too. All right. Well, it's time for the guided meditation. So go ahead and close your eyes. Take a nice deep breath while I go ahead and set the music up. And if your eyes are closed, go ahead and take a nice deep breath all the way in. Inhale, release, and let go. Once again, take a nice deep breath all the way in. Exhale, release, and let go. And just allow my voice and the background music to help relax your mind, body, and your spirit. I trust my intuition. I trust my inner guidance system to lead me in the right direction. God is on my side, and everything is unfolding in such a beautiful and miraculous way. I trust my gut. I trust my heart. And I know with God, all things are possible. I'm learning to never doubt what Spirit has for me. I'm learning to embrace all the good that's coming my way. And so I'm making room by having peace right now and by living in the present moment, day by day. Thank you, God, for the miracle that's unfolding in my life. And so it is. Thank you all. I love each and every one of you. See you tomorrow. Bye-bye.